Hello and welcome, and in today's video I am going to be talking about something I never talk about, and that is myself. So this video is basically like questions I found and my answers to them. So without further ado, let's get into it. First question: what's your favorite way to spend a day off? Well, my favorite way would be if the day was a summer day and I would be able to go somewhere for a swim, sunbathe, and be by myself and read something, maybe a book, and then maybe take some wine in the evening, or maybe grab a lunch somewhere, something like that. What are your hobbies and how did you get into them? I like different kinds of sports, like swimming. I was on a swim team when I was little. And I like cycling on my bike. I also like running. That's one of my biggest hobbies ever. I always get into this like a flow state or something, and I really enjoy that. I like yoga, and I cook my food. Like I cook everything myself basically. Sometimes I make exceptions. So yeah, this is like what I do in my free time. What was your favorite age growing up? My favorite age was probably between the age of 6 and 12, because that was a time where I learned how to read and I started going to the libraries, and I always went to a library and there was so many books, and to me when I was a little kid it felt like this sort of a mysterious place where there's like these books and each book has a totally different world in there, and plus, I was a kid, so the books were illustrated many times, and I just really enjoyed that. And I would go like every week, and it would be the most magical time of my week, and then I would spend the week at home reading and reading and reading. And then the next week I would go again, and every time I borrowed like 10 different books, and I had like a really hard time going to the cashier desk because I felt like it's too much. And for the life of me, I can't take 10 books, but the lady never told me anything, so this was like really nice thing. Would you say you're more of an extrovert or an introvert? Well, in case you didn't guess by my previous answers, I would definitely say introvert. However, I really feel like everybody has some extrovert in them, some introvert. It depends on the situation. Like now, I keep talking and talking and I tell you that I'm introvert. That doesn't mean that introverts can talk, but this is exactly my point. It's really hard to draw the line. What is and what is not extrovert, and what is not introvert. But if I should really make the most brute distinction, I would just go for an introvert. What was the last TV show you binge-watched? I don't really watch TV shows anymore. However, I made one exception this autumn because someone actually recommended this to me, and I just really wanted to watch it. And that was a TV show, Home for Christmas. It's Norwegian, and it's about this woman who tries to find herself a boyfriend. It was like about all these dating problems she had and stuff like that. And I thought it was really... it wasn't shallow in my opinion, and sometimes I think it's really hard thing to find something which would be more like a romantic comedy sort of, and it wouldn't be totally shallow, and I really liked it, and I recommend it if you're into romantic comedies or romantic movies. Then definitely this is a really nice thing to watch before Christmas. Do you have a favorite holiday? Why or why not? My favorite holiday is definitely anything around summer, because I love summer. I was born in summer, I'm a summer child, so yeah, anything around that. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Well, my first answer that came to my mind was that it's chocolate, anything chocolate. But on the second thought, it's not the best answer, because I guess I would want something nutritious and something I would be able to eat all the time. But I really wouldn't want to do anything like that, because I still feel like you need variety of foods, and I would never want to do that, so I don't really know. Do you like going to the movies or prefer watching at home? Definitely watching at home. I can make bathroom breaks. However, anytime I go to the movies, there's always somebody who just can't shut their mouths, And every time this happens to me, I'm always like, well, should I tell them something? Like ask them to be more quiet, or should I just keep being quiet and hope that they will stop by themselves? I tried both approaches. I don't like neither of them because I don't want to come to movies to tell somebody to be quiet, I just want to come and enjoy the movie, and I don't like being in that position where I would discipline others. But this is the reason why I don't like going to the movies. What's your favorite sleeping position? Definitely on the side, doesn't matter which one. But I lately tried to sleep more on my back because I realized that I have less of a back pain when I sleep on my back, but it's super hard. What's your go-to guilty pleasure? Well, I don't like to think of pleasures as something I should feel guilty about, so I'm gonna tell you what's my pleasure. A pleasure for me is when I go outside and I eat a meal outside and I don't have to cook. Because it's so exceptional for me. I hardly ever eat outside, but when I do, it's just this sort of a celebration, really, that I don't have to cook for once, and I can just enjoy something. So yeah, that's my pleasure. In the summer, would you rather go to the beach or go camping? Definitely a beach. What's your favorite quote from a TV show, movie, or a book? Wow, I feel like I should say something really smart because these are endless possibilities. But yeah, now I think of something. It's from a TV show called Pretty Little Liars, which is for teenagers, but there was one quote which I really laughed about that. It was made by Spencer, and she said, "You know what they say about hope. It breeds eternal misery." I really like this quote. It's a really great quote. Because hope really does breed eternal misery. Because you keep waiting for something which might not ever happen, and in the meantime your life is just happening and you just keep turning towards something in the future, and it's just really annoying in a way. What's one thing that can instantly make your day better? Well, I assume that this question assumes that I have a bad day and what can make the day better. So if I have a bad day, it would mean, in the past, it would mean that I was working in this open space, which I really didn't like. And what would make my day better would be when I could spend some time in solitude by myself. Maybe go for a lunch by myself. And that would kind of recharge my batteries. So having some quiet time, it's something that can make my day better anytime, any day. Do you have any pet peeves? Well, I have one thing. It's sort of, it's been mentioned throughout my questions, and that is the thing that I tend to be sometimes really quiet. And when it happens to me in a bigger group of people, usually there is somebody who doesn't like it, and they just let me know. And they tell me something like, "Why are you so quiet? Why can't you say something?" And usually this takes me by surprise, because I just don't speak because I don't feel like talking and I just enjoy the celebration or whatever that is. And then when somebody is really annoyed with my behavior or my presence in there, it surprises me. So I try to be more aware of that and I try to talk more, but sometimes I really don't feel like it and I just want to do what I want. But at the same time, I don't want to be annoyance to others, so sometimes it's a little hard for me, this thing. Which meal is your favorite, breakfast, lunch, or dinner? It can be really anything, It depends what kind of food I'm having, but if it's a good food, it can be anything. What song always gets you out on the dance floor? No song ever gets me out on the dance floor. Okay, if I ever want to dance, I would dance. But if I don't, there's no song in the world that would get me anywhere. What activity instantly calms you? Well, this I know for sure, and that is autogenic training. I highly recommend trying autogenic training because if I lay down on my mat and I just try to relax my body and I do autogenic training, what happens is that I just calm my body so much down that it's almost like I'm deadening my body. I can't no longer feel it almost. And I feel like my mind is awake, but my body is sleeping in a way. And it's really this strange feeling, and it's amazing feeling. And it's like I feel instantly calmer just by the fact that my body is so calm. And I feel like there's nothing else that should be stressful for me, or I don't know how to put it into words. If you ever experience this, you must know what I'm talking about. And also, if you have sleeping issues, definitely try autogenic training for sleeping. I actually have a video about it, and I still stand strongly behind this video because it's a really great way how to improve your sleeping. Ideally, how would you spend your birthday? It's actually the birthday I had last year, and that was when I spent the day by myself. I was born in summer, and so it was beautiful weather. I went swimming, sunbathing, I grabbed a lunch, I went for a massage, and I had some wine in the evening. It was a really pretty day. So that's actually my ideal way. What do you do on your commute anywhere? What do I do when I commute, like by bus or train? I actually like to watch the landscape behind the window. It's really nice. And sometimes I play this game with myself that I look around and I kind of pick a place where I would want my house, if I had a house. And also when I go through the city, I look at the houses and apartments and I always try to pick where would I want to live. And I always think for myself, oh, what does it apartment look like on the inside, what it looks like in there. And it's like sometimes I can get so much in my head and in my imagination. Also, what I like sometimes is when there are people next to me and they talk, I like to listen to their conversation. I know that I probably shouldn't do this, but if they're really close and I hear them, it's almost impossible not to listen, Well, unless I would have headphones, but I usually don't wear headphones outside. So, yeah. I know I shouldn't do it, I know. Do you have a favorite type of exercise? Yoga, definitely. If I should do only one exercise for the rest of my life, that would definitely be yoga. What's your favorite season and why? I feel like this is unnecessary to answer. That summer, obviously. I'm a summer child. What's the best joke you've ever heard? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something surprising, probably. But I don't like hearing jokes at all. I don't like when somebody tells me, look, I'm gonna tell you a joke. I feel like I'm supposed to laugh at the end, but I hardly ever feel like laughing after hearing jokes. I feel like I don't want to laugh. I feel like it's not funny. I feel like the joke, I get the point. I get that it's a good joke, but I don't feel like laughing. Would you rather cook or order in? I would rather order in just because I cook all the time. And it's a nice change sometimes. Have you ever disliked something and then changed your mind? Totally. I change my mind all the time. And I can go back and forth. I can even convince myself that I like something and I can convince myself that I dislike something and I can be changing my mind all the time and I just play with that. But this indecisiveness, it's like a problem for me in my life. How do you take your coffee? I don't drink coffee often, but when I do, I like to take it with milk and brown sugar. And yeah, basically I will do anything not to taste the taste of the coffee at all. Yes. If you could have any exotic animal as a pet, which would it be? Well, we actually do have exotic animal in our house, and that is a turtle. So I would have a turtle. What would be the first thing you do if you won the lottery? I would buy my own house and a piece of land. And not much of anything else. If I was a millionaire, they're not saying it in this question, but I assume they mean winning the lottery as if you are at least a millionaire of some sort. no one would ever know that I'm a millionaire, and I would be the kind of millionaire that would still go to second hands, you know. I love second hands, I love thrift shopping and all this kind of stuff, and I would still do that. And I wouldn't want people to know that I have money, you know. I don't like showing things off, so this is what I would do. What's your favorite thing about YouTube? My favorite thing is that I can be talking and talking and talking endlessly. And you know, the thing that I release online, it's just like a fragment of my talking. It's like I spent shooting my videos for like 2 hours, and then I only release like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that. What annoys you most about YouTube? Definitely the technical part, because sometimes, for example, I spend hours trying to make a different lighting for my videos. But only after these several hours I realized that the new lighting is much worse than the old one, and I just end up sticking to the old lighting. And like same thing with like microphones. I buy a microphone, it doesn't work. I buy a different microphone. It has a horrible noise in there. I work with the audio, and I still always figure out that the best thing was the original thing. And it really prevents me from improving the quality, because I don't know anymore. What is the worst job you've ever had? Well, this I know with absolute certainty. It was a job which I had when I was still in college, and it was a part-time job. And I was working in this company which had like 20 employees, and I was an assistant. And I was assistant to all of them. And it would produce some really bad situations for me, where somebody would ask me to do something, and they would tell me, look, it's gonna last you like 2 hours tops. But then, in the meantime, other people would come to me with their different stuff, and the original work would last me like 4 hours instead of 2 hours. And then I got kicked out of this job. And I also made some other mistakes. But this was one thing why they kicked me out, that I'm really slow. But I was only slow because so many people kept giving me things to do. And so only later I figured out that there were some communication problems in there. But it was like a really bad experience for me. What career advice would you give to your younger self? I would give an advice to go to some career coach, or to think more about what I'm gonna choose as a college and as a job. And I think that with myself, this would be a really great thing to think about it more than I did. So this is the advice I would give to my younger self, definitely. What is your definition of success? Well, I feel like the all-rounded definition of success could be that you are good in something and you are rewarded for that, both financially and people respecting you for it. But what I consider true success is when you actually do something you genuinely enjoy, and you are good at it, and you are financially awarded for it, and people respect you and all these things. But the essence of it is really that you do something you enjoy. And that's what I want to end up here with this question. I have more questions here, but this video would be way too long. And I just wanted to answer random questions so that you would have more of an idea of who I am or what I like. And yeah, that's everything from me. Next video is gonna be probably already a normal self-help video, something like that. I'm not totally sure about it yet. So yeah, that's it. Have a beautiful now, and I will see you next time with my next video. Bye!